Hey, it says we're live.
We're live, y'all. We
Press that
are
button.
live. Here we go.
Whoop.
Yes, that intro is the thing, y'all. It is the thing.
No regrets. I mean
And
regrets.
no regrets. And okay, every week I gush over the flowers and the chopsticks and the Korean leaders hair there. But today, y'all, this week, I'm sorry, our very own George W. gets my vote because that yellow is fabulous, and I'm in the mood for yellow.
Fabulous.
So he gets my vote of the drag of the day. So can we give it up for George W. and his
Yes.
fantastic drag? I love those. We got to
Yes.
find more of those. We got to find more of those. They were so
There
good.
are more. I guess I'll have to get them.
Yeah, because we need an extended version,
We
an
need
extended intro
extended
with about
version.
3 more at least.
Oh my. Oh my.
It's drag hour with
Okay.
ARWENA Activated.
I will work on that.
God.
Well, welcome everybody, and
Hey,
um,
y'all.
um, it, I think I keep hearing myself. I
You
don't
sound
think.
good
Hold
on this
on. No. I think Jester might not be muted.
end. Chester, mute. Mute, Chester.
There he did. He did.
Chester. And y'all, we are streaming tonight on my YouTube channel and Arlena's Rumble channel. So
yes.
pick your poison.
Pick your
Kinda
poison. Pick
go
your
back and
poison.
forth in between. We don't care. Just you're here.
Yep.
We're glad. And shall we greet our chat?
Yes. I've only got a couple people over on the Rumble site. So Chris Persia said he was first. So hello. Daryl's over there. He said he was second. Hi, Daryl. Jester, my darling, is over there. Hello, my love. And that's it for now.
All
Uh,
right.
and Jester said he Arwened it.
Oh yeah, I hear. Yes, you did, Jester. Yes, you did.
And there's JP. Hey, JP. Good to
I
see
will
you.
concede that. I will concede that. And over here, we've got Chris whispers first, although it's an honorary first because we all know Sensei is always first. Even if he's last, he's first. Sorry, Chris. He gets claim for that. We have Gun Bunny. Hello, hello, hello tonight. Let me scroll down because I'm seeing we had this conversation before. Okay, and we got Twinsy, Daryl the Derelict. Howdy do, Buckaroos. Good to see you tonight. We got
Mhm.
JP and the lovely Sherry. It's always good to see y'all.
Always.
And yep, we regret nothing. We regret nothing.
Nothing. Ha ha ha.
Tender Warrior 68. Hey, good to see you
Hello,
tonight.
Tender Warrior.
Awesome. And W. Daisy Girl Williams is lurking. Well, hello. Lurk
Hi.
to your little heart's content. We love
Lurk
lurkers.
away.
And we've got Final Fantasy Fan 012. Oh, you beat it. Well, good for you.
Wow. Awesome.
That's awesome. All right. And Chris
Nice.
says, foiled again by that cybernetic rapskillion. Yes. My God, y'all, it's been a week for Avalon 19. But
Oh
anyway,
boy. Yes, it has.
okay.
So we're trying to, of course, we're going to get into the topic at hand, but
Yes.
it's such a heavy topic. We're trying
Yeah. Well,
to
I'm
laugh it up first.
yeah, that's pretty much. It's not that we're trying to avoid it, but I told Arlene, I was like, after looking at some of this stuff, I'm
Uh,
kind of heartbroken. I'm kind of
yeah,
heartbroken.
and we're gonna watch The Sound of Freedom.
Hey, Otis.
I haven't worked myself up to watching it yet because just looking at the interviews, I've
Uh-huh.
teared up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really want to watch it, but I already know y'all. Look, everybody thinks I'm this hard ass. On one hand, I am, but I am really just a big old mushy on the inside. you
She
know.
is, y'all. Y'all, she's the Three Musketeers. She's the Three
hmm
Musketeers. You got that, that
Yeah,
kind of solid chocolatey coating, but the inside is nothing but, gooey nougat. That's
fluff.
Arlena. Yes.
It's all
Fluff, fluff, fluffy
it's all
nougat.
fluff.
That's Arlena. And hail, Southern Viking. You do
Hi,
get to finally
Southern
see one.
Viking.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
But before we
Yay.
begin to, I just want to give a big fuck you, Rolling Stone, for
Yeah.
the article about how Sound of Freedom was nothing more than basically a boomer daddy's what the hell
Chewing
QAnon.
on. Yeah.
Dude, come on now. We all know this happened. It already happened.
Yeah.
This is old news. So I don't know what magazine you've been hiding under, Rolling Stone, up your own ass. But yeah, that article irritated the crap out of me. And I'm not putting it on this channel because it irritated me so bad. Y'all can go look it up for yourself. But yeah. And Red Monarch, hey,
Hey.
good to see you tonight.
Mhm.
And Otis says, I seen
Yeah.
it within 1 hour. I was crying. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just kids, man,
Yeah.
I just I have a big heart, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you start bringing the kids into it and messing with kids, that it just ugh,
Yes.
I want to shoot something then.
So we won't be talking about what we thought of the movie because we have not
Yeah,
seen
we
it,
didn't get to watch it. Yeah.
but we are going to be talking about human trafficking. And
Mhm.
is it real? Does it exist? Is it a conspiracy? Is it QAnon? Is it a right wing MAGA country in your face trying to shove down your throat indoctrination? Or is it just
Mhm.
freaking real? Hey, Archer Colin.
Hey, Archer. Yeah.
Yeah. Always protect the children. Leave our kids alone. I agree.
Yep. Mhm.
So I found this site. I did some reading, but I found this site called the Exodus Road, and I'm going to pull it up here in just a sec. And basically, it is this organization that works with law enforcement to help, find these human trafficking rings, hone in on them. What do we do? Where do we go from here? They've got offices in a lot of different countries. And some of the people, interestingly enough, like if you go to their about page, the faces are blurred out. Some of these
Yeah.
people in these other countries, their faces are blurred out.
Mhm.
The main chick who's here in the US, hers isn't, but some of them are. And I think the guy in Thailand is. There's another couple of countries, and it's like, yeah, okay. And hey,
Mhm.
Tickle Trunk,
Hey, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
this stream should be 2 minutes long. Reel the end. Then you're reading off every country where human trafficking is a huge industry. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I am going to pull up. Oh my god, I almost hit leave studio. Y'all,
Oh my god.
I am a I swear, my
Sh
brain is just not working. How many times today have I said to you earlier, oh my god, I can't think of that name. Oh my god, what's
Yeah.
their name? Oh my god, what's
Yeah.
that movie? Yes.
Yes.
My brain is fried.
But
All
to
right.
be fair, we both did that earlier.
Yeah, we did. We did. All right. Let me know if y'all can see this. When it comes up,
Mhm.
it's kind of slow. I don't know why.
Circle of death, circle of
Circle of
death.
death. There we
There we go.
go. And I don't know if I don't know if y'all can read these, but I'm going to read some of it. We're not going to read all of this. But what this is the Exodus Road. And it says the timeline of human trafficking is long. For as long as humans have existed, human trafficking has existed.
Mhm.
Hello, whether it was stealing people and selling them into slavery, whether it was, holding people against their will and they're from their own town, whether it was, whatever, there has been some form of slavery and human trafficking in this world as we know it. This is an
Mhm.
indisputable fact.
Yep.
I mean, hell, our own country is tarnished with the history of slavery. So we know it exists. We know it existed. We know it's, anyway, I could go on about that. But basically, their definition, it says human trafficking is commonly referred to as modern day slavery, in quotes. While the
Mhm.
words slavery and human trafficking are frequently used interchangeably, slavery has a more general definition. Merriam-Webster.com defines slavery simply as the state of a person who is held in forced servitude. So that's why you can kind of use those two, one to mean the other, because we know what you mean. Now, although I will say, when I hear human trafficking, I think of a specific business
Yeah.
that involves, the exchange of money, that involves any kind of nefarious, you can, particularly when children are involved and them moving throughout a country or moving from one country to another or states or whatever. That's what I think of specifically when I think of human trafficking. But I get it. It is a form of modern slavery. So I understand what they said there.
Mhm.
The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime defines human trafficking as the act of gathering, moving, receiving, or keeping human beings by threat, force, coercion, or deception for exploitative purposes. Yep, pretty much
Mhm.
what we just said. For much of the human history across cultures and continents, slavery was legal, regulated, and common. We all know that this is to be true. We all know this.
Mhm.
It was often perpetrated by one people group onto another. However, in the 19th and 20th centuries, an international movement began to abolish slavery in all its forms. Our understanding of and fight against human trafficking have grown out of these movements. Because all right, look, with any criminal activity, when that envelope is pushed, there's going to be pushback. It's not it's kind of like with the gun argument, abolishing guns, which is
Mhm.
a big movement here in the United States. Abolish the guns. I shouldn't say a big movement, but I will say a loud movement.
Yeah.
Taking away the guns from legal citizens is not going to solve the criminal problem. It's going to end up
Nope.
with all the damn criminals having all the damn guns.
Yep.
So, abolish slavery, fantastic. Utopia, no. Because you're going to
Mm-mm.
have people that are going to push back on that and say, okay, fine. Then I'm going to
We'll
steal
find
these
another
people.
way.
Yeah, we'll find
Yep.
another way. We'll do it.
Mhm.
Slavery is no longer legal. And that is the key word. It's no longer legal anywhere in the world, but human trafficking still occurs in every country.
Mhm.
And this talks about a brief history, um, you know, all the way back 1500 to 1866, transatlantic slave trade. Right there. Shit.
Mhm.
Back in, ancient times in Egypt, you had the slaves, you had the Jews. Were the
Yep.
slaves. Right there. They had
For
no
all of
autonomy.
history. Yeah.
All of history.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it basically just goes into that. This is interesting.
Mhm.
1850 to 1900, the
But it's
traffic of
it's
Chinese women into the U.S.
i-
That's
it's
heard about
funny
that.
how they start at a certain time instead of going back further. Like if you go back further, you have the Vikings. They weren't called slaves; they were called thralls, which is where we get
Mm-hmm.
the word enthralled from.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Exactly.
goes back even further than that as well. So, why choose that time period to start at when the beginning of your whole article is it's existed as long as time has existed?
I agree. I agree. Now they are naming specifics here,
Mm,
but still, yeah, it's as long as there's been humanity, there has been depravity. There's been
yeah.
crime, and this is a form of a depraved crime.
Mhm.
Now, this is interesting. 1900 to 1910, the International Agreement for the Suppression of, quote, white slave traffic says following the abolition of the African slave trade, white slavery became a topic of interest for many international governments as people became aware of European women, often immigrants, ensnared in forced prostitution. White slavery was defined as the quote procurement by use of force, deceit, or drugs of a white woman or girl against her will for prostitution.
Mhm.
So it looks like I think every race at this point has experienced some sort of
Yeah.
enslavement, whatever
Mhm.
slavery, human trafficking. There is no race that is immune to this kind of shit.
Mhm. Or
It's
hasn't seen it
right.
throughout
Call
their
it what it
history.
is.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so it goes on. I mean, this shit goes on. 1980 to present day, the internet and social media says with the advent of the internet, the world of human trafficking radically changed. It's no longer necessary to move exploited individuals to a specific physical location. Now, thanks to video streaming, a victim can remain in one location and be exploited all over the world.
Mm.
Yes. The human
Mm.
trafficking marketplace has expanded astronomically through any online platform that allows images and streaming. This takes place on platforms designed to sell sexual content, such as OnlyFans and Pornhub, which are notoriously lax in monitoring for trafficking activity. But it also happens on seemingly innocent social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, WhatsApp, and YouTube.
Mhm.
So let me remove that one. Been since the beginning of time, y'all. But it's a QAnon conspiracy.
Mhm. Yeah.
No. And I do find it interesting that they bring up OnlyFans and Pornhub.
Mhm.
I've been told blue in the face. Well, it's a woman's choice. She could do what she wants with her body. She could do that's fine. That's fine. You want to let those things hang to the wind and on a stream, whatever, that's your choice. But there is always something darker beneath it.
Mhm.
There's always something behind it. And these kind of sites, because the shame has been removed from it. And let's face it, they're not ashamed of porn anymore. They're not ashamed of OnlyFans
Yeah.
anymore. If you're a woman, I mean, shit, well, I won't get into that conversation,
Nobody
but
has any couth.
yeah, it's okay because it's legal. It's all right. And it's
Mhm.
like, all right, but do you see why there was shame attached to some of these things? And yes, people that are using these sites legally, no, of course they're not responsible for human trafficking, but it's just one more way for human traffickers to come in and hold someone in a room and exploit the hell out of them. It's
Mhm.
it is a means to an end for some of these people. And it's just there are no words. Disgusting is not a strong enough word for it.
No, it's
All
not.
right.
So, what I have here is myths, facts, and statistics about human trafficking.
All right.
So, it says here who is vulnerable. It can happen to anyone, but some people are more vulnerable than others. Significant risk factors include recent migration or relocation, substance use, mental health concerns, involvement with the child welfare system, and being a runaway or homeless youth. Often, traffickers identify and leverage their victims' vulnerabilities in order to create dependency. And here we have some myths. Human trafficking is always or usually a violent crime. Reality is the most perverse myth about human trafficking is that it often involves kidnapping or physically forcing someone into a situation. In reality, most traffickers use psychological means such as tricking, defrauding, manipulating, or threatening victims into providing commercial sex or exploitive labor.
Yeah. Hell, even now you could put grooming in there where the
Mhm.
victim trusts the person who's trying to
Mhm.
lure them into this shit until it's too late.
Yep. So I don't want to go through all of these, but what ones do you want me to click on?
The one of the second one there, all human trafficking involves sex.
Okay. Myth. Reality. Human trafficking is the use of force, fraud, or coercion to get another person to provide labor or commercial sex. Worldwide, experts believe there are more situations of labor trafficking than of sex trafficking, but there is much wider awareness of sex trafficking in the US than of the labor trafficking.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
mean, you just know there's some asshat out there who's, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna call you an asshat. And if you think this, well, it is what it is, because it's an asshat thought. But well, if
Hmm.
there's no sex involved, is it really human trafficking? Is it really that bad?
Yeah,
Is it real?
it absolutely
Yes,
is.
yes. These people are being held against their will. All individual and self autonomy is gone, and they're being forced to do whatever it is the traffickers are making them do.
Hmm.
That's bad. That is bad.
Hmm.
Let's see. Oh, the one next to that, the third one, the human trafficking only happens in illegal blah blah blah. I want to see what that says.
Reality. Human trafficking cases have been reported and prosecuted in industries including restaurants, cleaning services, construction, factories, and more.
Y'all ever heard that expression hidden in plain sight?
Hmm.
My late husband bought me a Christmas present one year. And I wasn't really a snooper, but I knew where he had hidden. I got really good at ferreting that kind of shit out. Well, he was like, "You'll never find it. You'll never find it. You'll never find it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's a challenge now." I never
Hmm.
found it. You want to know why? Because it was in a box right there near the door of the office the entire damn time. But I never thought to look there because I assumed it was hidden somewhere really secretive.
Hmm. And if
Hidden
anybody's
in
saying
plain
anything in
sight.
if anybody is saying anything that they want to see in the chat, Arwen, let me know because
I will.
I have my Rumble chat up and then this so I can scroll through it so I can't see the chat right now. The
And I
YouTube
would
chat.
take a moment to say hey to Loki, Claude, and Maddie's daddy, Steve Bishop. Hey y'all, welcome
Hey
to the
y'all.
stream tonight.
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay, you pick the next one.
All right. Um Myth, all commercial sex is human trafficking. Reality, all commercial sex involving a minor is legally considered human trafficking. Commercial sex involving an adult is human trafficking if the person providing commercial sex is doing so against his or her will as a result of force, fraud, or coercion. So that is a key. Anything involving a minor is legally considered human trafficking.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
And y'all, the prostitution laws are different from country to country. In some countries, prostitution is legal. So yes, there
And
could
state to state.
be, yeah. So there could be a woman involved who's like, nope, this is perfectly legal. This is not trafficking. I'm here to make my coin. Okay, but if she's like, no, I was snatched from a supermarket and I've seen my family in a year and I have to give it up to these guys against my will, trafficking. It's
Hmm.
really that simple.
Yeah, it is. In 2021, 10,359 situations of human trafficking were reported to the U.S. National Human Trafficking Hotline involving 16,554 individual victims. As shocking as these numbers are, they are only a fraction of the actual problem. So this is only the reported incidents.
Mhm.
How many are unreported?
God.
Mm,
This was one of my biggest fears when, and I told that story before, when my son was 4, he disappeared for almost 3 days. This was my biggest fear, was that he had been abducted and someone was hurting him. And I remember on an interview, we had a TV interview, they asked me, what do you want to say? And I said, for the love of God, please, if somebody has taken my child, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him.
mhm,
Bring him home, because that was
mhm.
that was constantly in the back of my mind. And I can imagine every single parent who is missing their kids has that fear. Or a loved one. It doesn't even have to be a child. It could be an adult
Yeah.
child. It could be an adult family member, a friend, an acquaintance.
Mhm.
Anyone who disappears from someone's life abruptly, don't tell me these thoughts don't go through your head.
Yeah, and that brings up this one here, myth. Traffickers target victims they don't know. Many survivors have been trafficked by romantic partners, including spouses, and by family members, including parents.
Yeah.
How sick is that?
God.
How fucking sick is that? And if y'all want to look at this is polarisproject.org um, with the myth, facts, and statistics if you'd like to look at more into it.
Now, Chris says, what about when farmers bring in multiple dozens of immigrant workers getting paid less than minimum wage, yet double or triple what they'd earn in their home country?
That is a little bit different if they are migrant workers. Then the farmer has to account for them, um, and they have to have the ability to come to the U.S. to work. Now, if they're illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, then that completely changes it. Um, but regardless, they're still getting paid, even if it is less than what would be a normal wage here in the US. Because they're getting paid, it's not considered a type of human trafficking
Okay.
because there's payment involved.
And Steve Mitchum says, people that take children deserve no mercy. I agree. There
100%.
is, it is awful enough what an adult human being can do to another adult human being. That's a special kind of evil in itself.
Yeah.
But someone who takes a child, children are the most vulnerable of the human species.
Hmm.
To take a child and to do that, they have no soul. They really have
None.
no soul. They have no conscience. They have no soul. They have no sense of what's really right and wrong. All they can see is their greed and what their evil wants them to do. That's all they can see.
Hmm. And when you
Anyways.
bring a child into
Hey,
something
wait.
like this, yeah, it's
Yeah.
sickening to begin with. It's sickening. And if the person that did it isn't shot on site, then at a minimum, if they're a man, they should have their balls removed.
Oh, minimum. I'm with that unicum.
And
Unicum
then
right
and
there.
then afterwards they should be put in they should not be allowed to be in solitary confinement. They should be put in with the general population.
Ooh, that would do it. Because from what I understand about big, burly, mean prisoners, even big, burly, mean murderers cannot stomach a child abuser.
I
They
can
have
tell
a
you
code. They have a code,
when
y'all.
yeah, they actually do.
You know, Arlena,
When
you
I
know.
worked, yeah, when I worked in the jail, I worked in a couple of different parts. I worked with mental health, and I also worked with the felons that murderers and shit like that. And if someone, because these guys watch TV all the time, and whenever the news is on, they're watching
Mhm.
the news. So if you're on the news and you've done something to a child, and you come in there, they already know who you are and what you're already accused of doing, and there's not going to be any escape for you
Yeah.
because it's only required that the officer will walk around twice an hour,
Mhm.
and there's plenty of time in between there for them to take care of business, and trust me, they do.
They do. Hey, Rod. Chris had another comment, and this is heartbreaking. Arlena, wasn't there a missing woman the other week? She and her boyfriend. What is OS? Off script? What is that? OS? Well,
Mm,
anyway, then he sold her off to traffickers because they had a fight, only for her to be found expired a few weeks later.
mm,
Y'all look at the people
uh,
traditionally being taken, okay? Immigrants, children, um people who, people are taking those that trust them.
mhm,
Look at the thread. When you trust someone, you're vulnerable because you believe what they have to say. So if someone says, "Hey,
mhm,
let's go here," and you get in the car, you're expecting to go where they say you're going. And if they go somewhere else, it's your brain just about breaks. Okay. Immigrants, a lot of people coming to this country for the first time, they don't know anyone. They don't have family looking out for them. Then if they
mhm.
disappear, they're reported. Some of them may, but a lot of the ones that come, they don't. Children, they're vulnerable. All you got to do is, most kids you could just pick up and take them wherever you want. They're preying on the vulnerable of our
Yeah.
society. And
Mhm,
and like Chris just highlighted, the woman and her boyfriend, they had a fight.
mm.
Lovers are going to fight. It's inevitable. Humanity, that's what we do. We get along,
Argue.
we
Yeah.
fight, we make up, we get along, we fight, we make up, we disagree. It's just that's the human condition
That's
of
how it
emotions.
works.
That's how it
Yeah.
works. That's how we're designed. That's how we're
Mhm.
designed. So shit, y'all be careful who you date because you just
Yeah.
don't know anymore. You better know that. And even
Right.
then, it's like, damn, and you hear stories like this.
Mhm.
Oh, I know you would, Steve. I know you would. If
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
hurt Maddie, yes. The only
Mhm.
times I've actually gone medieval on people is when I thought they were messing with my kids. You
Yeah, I
know,
told you the story about what happened with my oldest daughter.
oh my God, that beats mine at any time. Yes. So that's why people are, and you know what? Okay, if there's anybody who is listening in the future who's like, well, y'all didn't pull up a lot of sources, so fail. We don't have to. It's there.
Yeah.
It's historical. It's currently
Mhm.
happening. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And I've got one up there and ready too because you were
All
talking
right,
about
all right. Let me
immigration.
pull that up. There we go.
Yep. So
Here we go.
this is the Texas Policy Foundation. How porous borders fuel human. Oh my God, I can't even talk. Human trafficking in the
Human.
United States. Slavery is alive and well today all across the world, and it comes in the form of human trafficking. We were just talking about this. This I didn't know. January
Hmm.
is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Did anybody know that? I had no idea.
No clue. I know when
Um,
pride is, but I don't know when this
right?
is.
Unfortunately, we know when pride is because they stuff it down our throats. You know, a whole
Mm,
nother subject. But
mm.
um there are many forms of trafficking, most notably forced sex exploitation, as well as domestic servitude and factory and agricultural work. Victims experience physical and psychological abuse while being isolated from the world. It's a tool their captors use to control them. Every form of it is an atrocity. Yes. One way in which the U.S. can help curb it is improving border security. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
In the US, immigrants, especially women, make up the largest portion of human trafficking victims. The Department of State estimates in 2016 And you can imagine how this number has gone up with as many illegals as we've had coming over the border.
Right.
In
Right.
2016, 57,700 victims had been trafficked into the US annually. The true number is likely much larger and impossible to determine.
Mhm.
Fiscal year 21, there were nearly 2 million apprehension along the border, and that number only accounts for the people encountered by border agents. More than 400,000 more eluded apprehension are accounted among the gotaways.
Mhm.
Last year, another unfortunate record, and this is the one that gets me. 147,000 unaccompanied children entered the US. 122,000 were taken into US custody, the previous record being 69,000. Now the question after that becomes what has happened to these 122,000 children?
That's what I
And
was just
what
thinking.
and what happened to the other 120 some thousand or shit, my math is off. I don't do math. I'm not high. I can't do math.
We're not stone y'all, we can't do numbers yet.
So, what happened to what is that? Roughly another 25,000?
Yeah, I
Uh
guess so.
147, 122, about 25,000. What happened to the other 25,000 unaccompanied children?
That's the question.
A large number of child sex trafficking survivors in the US were at one time in the foster care system. Being an immigrant places these children at a higher risk since they tend to have lower levels of education, an inability to speak English, and a lack of family and friends.
Okay, this is what I thought of. Remember a couple of years ago when what's her face AOC
Oh my God.
staged those stupid photos,
Yes.
crying in front of the detention center, and everyone had a fit
Hmm.
because those families were coming in and they were separating the kids from the parents so they could say, okay, who goes where and who goes with who, and make sure that everything was decent and in order. I mean, I get it. It would suck to have your child removed from you during that really scary time. I get that. I
Hmm.
understand that. But at the same time, they were trying to make sure these kids belonged with these parents and they weren't being trafficked or weren't being taken to a trafficker. They
Hmm.
were trying to kind of do their damn job.
Yeah.
And
And
right here, this is why.
this gets into it, but studies done by the Latin American branch of the Coalition Against Trafficking in Women estimates that 60% of Latin American children who set out to cross the border alone or with smugglers have been caught by the cartels and are being abused in child pornography or drug trafficking.
My
And
God.
this is what you were just referring to.
Yeah.
In 2019, the Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration launched a pilot program that allowed for ICE to DNA test families that were deemed suspicious of fraudulent activity. This program was designed to help prevent minors from being trafficked or recycled, and it resulted in criminal charges for the adults exploiting them. Yet, this program was met with great disdain by activist groups and lawmakers and is not being used by the current administration. I don't see where there's a problem with making sure that these adults are related to these kids like they're saying they are, because
Right.
it's going to help prevent these children from being exploited.
And think about the
But you know
parents
what?
in that scenario too. You think, okay, I'm on board with this because A, I want to make sure I get my kid back, and B, I want to make sure I get the right kid back. I mean, it would benefit both parties. But
Yeah, but I mean, really, if Biden administration would implement this, I mean, he would lose his ability to sniff all kinds of
oh my God.
hairs. So,
Okay, we need to
I'm
find we need to
sorry.
find a drag of Biden. Can we find a drag of
The
Biden,
sniffer
please?
in chief. He is the
Please.
sniffer in chief.
I want to see him in pearls.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. I will
in
do my best to
silver
find that one.
eyeliner. Come on, we got to find a Biden. Sorry, y'all.
Yep.
We gotta have some
Um,
levity at some point. This is just killing me. This
yeah,
subject's killing me.
it is. So, with the Border Patrol overwhelmed by the large number that they have to process, they are being compelled to get people through as quickly as possible, leading to less rigorous vetting processes. It is also unknown how many victims of human trafficking has been smuggled across the border to date, but it is clear that scandalously loose border policies and inadequate federal resources incentivize innocent people to put themselves at the mercy of human smugglers, fueling human trafficking in the United States.
You know,
It's
I've
mm,
actually heard some people say, well, it just doesn't make any sense. What doesn't make any sense? Why would they smuggle their kids or, the traffickers smuggle the kids over here to the United States instead of like Mexico? You think they would be going from the United States to Mexico because, that's where all that kind of crime happens. And I'm like, are you kidding? They are going to take the children where the money is.
yeah.
Where's the money? In the
Mhm.
United States. You think human traffickers can't get away with doing that here in the great US? Of course they can, because they're
Absolutely.
illegal. They're not going to exactly be advertising it on the street.
Yep.
So,
I
yeah,
mean, that's the whole thing with things being illegal. You know,
it's kind of
they're
dumb
not
to
gonna have
download.
a they're not gonna have a, billboard on Interstate 95 advertising, "Call 1-800-444-4444 for your kids traffic human sex
Needs. I
needs
mean, yeah,
today."
no, it's not going to happen that
I
way.
mean, yeah, it
They have
no.
their own way of networking. And if you're not in the know, you're not going to know. And most decent, sane people are not criminals and not into that kind of twisted, sick shit. So they're not going to know. It's just,
Mhm.
I couldn't believe when I heard that. I'm like, I swear to God, I think my brain broke. Let's see. Here
Yeah.
is something I want to share.
Mhm.
Where does human trafficking occur? Let's
Everywhere.
take a look.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Where does human trafficking occur? The short answer is that it happens everywhere. But it's more common in some places than others. Learn the regions where human trafficking is the most prevalent. But right here, human trafficking occurs everywhere.
Everywhere.
No continent, no country, no state is an exception. Human trafficking, modern day slavery, happens on both a domestic and a global front. While the immediate impact is local, the long term consequences are widespread and far reaching.
Mhm.
According to the International Labor Organization's Global Estimates of Modern Slavery, released in September 2022, interesting. We're not talking about something from like the 1800s. We're talking about
Mhm.
now, 2022,
Mhm.
y'all. An estimated 49.6 million people were the victims of forced labor and forced marriage at any given time in 2021.
Mhm.
6.3 million of these were victims of forced commercial sexual exploitation. So it's happening now, right under our noses.
Mhm.
So let's see. The regions of the world ranked by number of people in human trafficking are Asia and the Pacific, 29.3 million, Africa, 7 million, Europe and Central America, 6.4 million, Americas, 5.1 million, North and South, y'all, Arab states, 1.7 million.
Now, if I may interject real quick,
Mhm.
keep those numbers up.
Okay.
Now, this is modern day slavery. What
Yes.
people call modern day slavery. Add
Mhm.
all those numbers up together. There are more slaves today worldwide than there has ever been at any point in history. And at this point in history, it is illegal
It is illegal everywhere.
everywhere. Yet there are more slaves today than at any point throughout the history of the world, throughout the known history.
Kind
It
of boggles my mind.
it it really does, because there was a point in time where it was accepted and it was the norm,
Mhm.
pretty much up until the 19th and 20th century. It was the norm everywhere. It was the norm.
Mhm.
And now it's the opposite, yet there are more.
It's interesting. It's like with the development of technology, the it's like the attitude towards slavery, legalized slavery went away, but with the invention of, planes and cars and trucks and internet, and it's so easy to get to people now that they've
I'm
decided to take it underground and just.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No,
Oh,
that's
wow.
fine. What'd you see?
Archer Collins comment.
About Antarctica or the other one?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Antarctica.
Yeah, I would guess that Antarctica is probably trafficking free, but you never know. You don't know. You don't ever
You
know.
don't know. There could be some traffickers down there in Antarctica too.
I mean, there could be an igloo that's just all set up for that kind of stuff. You just don't know. It could be out literally in the middle of nowhere.
I mean,
In the middle of nowhere.
they have scientific research stations down there.
Yeah. And he says, to be fair, the population of the earth is much higher today. A better statistic might be percentage of population.
Either way, either way, percentage of population, just the sheer number,
Mm-hmm.
versus number of people on the planet is still more today than ever in any part of the history.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at that percentage, like how many people existed back then versus how many slaves to today, how many people exist versus how many slaves, we're probably just going to. And the fact that it's not legal, though, that's the point. That's the sticking point. It's not
Yeah,
legal.
it's
It's
not legal.
illegal. It should not be happening at all. 1%
Hmm.
of human trafficking is
It's
too
too
much.
much.
It's
Yes.
too much.
Hmm.
So it's sicker and it's twisted because it's not accepted. It is considered taboo. It is considered deviant. It is considered evil. But yet they're like, too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
We don't care. So hey, Phil, how are you? How
And
are
what
you
and
doing?
I feel what makes it so bad is you have something like uh, Epstein Island. This is precisely what he was
Oh,
doing on his island.
mm-hmm,
And all of these celebrities and politicians and high ranking people were going there, knew this was occurring, and did
mm-hmm,
nothing, participated in it.
mm-hmm,
And when you think of just that one place, just his island alone, how many did he have there? We don't
mm-hmm.
know, because he did it for so long and never got busted.
Never did. Now, this says the regions of the world ranked by prevalence per thousand people of human trafficking.
Oh,
Arab
well, here we
states,
go.
10.1%. Europe and Central Asia, 6.9%. Asia and the Pacific, 6.8%. Africa, 5.2%. And Americas, 5%.
Now, this is percentage per 1,000.
Yes, per
So
1,000 people.
for every 1,000 people in these areas, 5% of those 1,000 people. So what is 5%? It's math, y'all. I'm not high. I can't do math.
5% of 1,000?
Of, yeah, like 50?
Yes, because 10 would be 100. So be 50.
Okay, so 50 people per every 1,000 are victims
Are
of human
victims of human
trafficking.
trafficking.
That's a
Again,
big number. That's a big
that's
fucking number.
that's too many. Now, what countries rank the worst for human trafficking? This is interesting. The Global Organized Crime Index assesses the criminality level of 193 countries along with their resilience to organized crime. According to the 2021 report, human trafficking has become the most pervasive criminal activity in the world, informed by qualitative and quantitative measures and expert input. The 5 worst scoring countries for human trafficking are Libya, Eritrea, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, and Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
Ask the Marine. I know all these names. Turkmenistan.
And then one major reason Libya ranks worse is because of the destabilization in the country that started with the 2014 civil war.
Which is still going on.
So there you go, y'all. Those are the places that tend to hold the highest percentage and statistics for human
Yeah.
trafficking.
And Maddie's daddy hits the nail on the head. Rolling Stone and The Guardian call it lies and propaganda. They are the guardians for pedos.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And Archer, I'm sure there is. I'm sure. Look, numbers. I'm sure there are a lot more specific statistics out there
Mm-hmm.
that we can find that you can look up. The point is that it's still going on, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
scope of our focus. And that just
Mm-hmm.
gives you an example. And again, y'all can go to that site. It is from the Exodus Road. Matter of fact, I will copy and paste it.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. I think that'll work. If y'all want to look it up, go
And
for
put
it.
it in private chat so I can put it over here on Rumble
Alrighty.
side. Yeah.
Paste. There we go. So I don't know, y'all. This whole thing was born out of hearing how, Sound of Freedom is QAnon and conspiracy and tinfoiled hat. I'm like, shit, of all the things you can get tinfoiled hat about, y'all gonna choose this? Come on now. Aliens in
Yeah.
Roswell. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what was that? The Bunker 41 or whatever. The I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that's supposedly over there.
Area 51.
Area 51, not
My
Bunker
gosh.
41. Oh
Oh
my.
my God.
My aliens, y'all live in Bunker 41. But yeah, we're talking about Area 51. I mean, there's tons of stuff to get tinfoily
but
about.
but there's a special Avalon 19 Bunker 41.
Oh, I get it, Archer. That's why I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool. Yes, yes. That's
Area
where
51.
Avalon 19 Test Zero came from.
My
Bunker
God.
41. Oh my God, y'all, we got new lore.
Oh Lord.
Sorry.
It
Sorry. This topic is so heavy though. I have to have a
is.
moment because
It is.
it breaks my damn heart.
It
It breaks
does.
my heart.
And the thing is too is it's not just when it deals with the kids, but you're dealing with the most vulnerable of humanity.
Yes.
The people crossing the border, trying to get here to have a better life. Because regardless of what you'll hear on the news, America is still the land of opportunity, and everybody still wants to come here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have opportunities here that are not offered anywhere else in the world. You have freedoms here that are not offered anywhere else in the world. And that's what people want.
And Twinsy says, makes you wonder if there was a plan to traffic. Powers that be have been against kids standing up for themselves for decades. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't think
Absolutely.
for a moment there's not somebody in some hoity toity political position that knows exactly what's going on. Epstein's Island, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's why the gif of Bill Clinton in that Monica Lewinsky-esque blue dress with the red heels saying,
Yeah.
hey, big boy.
Hey, big boy.
Not an accent that made it into the intro.
Mhm.
No accident at
Not
all.
an accident.
We
Nothing
knew what we were
in
saying.
nothing in that intro is an accident. It is
No.
all purposefully put
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Hangar
Yeah.
13, Bunker 41, Area 51. That's one hell of an address.
And Maddie's daddy, you know, this okay, I'm going to say something here. And I'm pretty sure somebody else out there has thought this too. It's funny how we don't have that list yet. because for whatever reason they can't find it or it doesn't exist or yada yada yada.
Epstein's dog ate it.
But we can get a copy of everything that was in Trump's house. I
Uh-huh.
mean, come
Yeah.
on now.
The same day
Uh,
that
right?
it's sent out, they're getting it. But Epstein's list, his client list, we
Hmm.
don't know about that. That was lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask questions. Just move along. You don't want the Clintons to off you.
You know why too? 'Cause I bet freaking Hunter Biden was at that island. Yes, that's just a
I
theory, allegedly, but
think
it wouldn't shock me one bit.
I think Joe was there too. He likes to sniff and all.
Hmm. And Steve Mitchum says if there are no clients, what could he be charged with? Well, they
Exactly.
were doubly sure that he couldn't be charged with anything because now he's no longer alive. There's
Hmm.
your 10. Okay, you want to go
And
tinfoily hat over something? Go over tinfoily hat over Epstein's death, y'all.
well,
That's a reasonable thing.
and not only that, if there were no clients and there was no island, then what did old girl, his business partner, how did she just get found guilty of whatever she was just found guilty of?
Right, right. Maxine, what's her face?
Maxine, whatever.
Southern Viking says that list is more well hidden than the Ark.
Right?
I'm
They'll
assuming
find
the
the
Ark of
Ark
the
of the
Covenant.
Covenant. They'll find the Ark of the Covenant before they find Epstein's client list.
Yeah, they will. Oh my God. They'll find the Holy Grail before they'll find
Right?
Epstein's list.
We'll find the original tablets of the Ten Commandments before we find Epstein's list.
That's it. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, was convicted of child trafficking, but apparently to no
To
one.
no one? Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh an oh my God, interesting. Isn't it interesting that another channel I follow has just dropped a video entitled Why Are Some Trying to Normalize This about,
Uh-huh.
diddling little
Kiddos.
children? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they are, which is why the uh what's the damn name of the magazine? Rolling Stone
Rolling Stone.
has come out with that article. And I was reading some articles when I was researching this stuff for today's show, and some of them that are articles on the Sound of Freedom, the title will make you think, okay, this is actually going to be an article talking about the Sound of Freedom and what the movie's about and et cetera, et cetera. No, as soon as you start reading, the movie Sound of Freedom has surprised people with its, how much money it's made and yada, yada, yada. And it stars Jim Caviezel, a QAnon supporter,
Yeah.
conspiracy supporter. It's like, what? What?
They are
And then it
setting
goes
you up
on,
to
and,
hate the film from the beginning.
and
Yeah.
then it goes on to talk about how Jim Caviezel has spoken at QAnon events and is friends with this person who is known to be a part of QAnon. And I'm like, what relevancy does this have to the movie?
Right.
What relevancy does this have to anything to do about child trafficking? It has none. You're trying to flip the script like you always do, make it into something that it's not, so that we turn our focus onto something else instead of what our focus should be on, which is helping and protecting and saving these damn children.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because children are the most vulnerable amongst all of us. Yes, um, migrants and women and people with mental health issues and all this stuff, yes, they are also vulnerable, but the most vulnerable amongst any of us are the children, and we need to do everything in our power to protect them. And if we cannot protect children, then what the fuck is our purpose? They
Mhm.
are innocent. They are
Mhm.
innocent of this world. They do not need to be exposed to this shit. They need to be protected and loved and cherished because that is what children are given to us for. And if we can't do that for them, then what the fuck is the purpose of even being here?
Right.
We need to protect them above all else.
Do you want to explain what QAnon is?
Oh, it's apparently this organization, and I don't even know if it's real to be real, y'all. Apparently they're big conspiracy theorists, and
Mhm.
I think one of their biggest conspiracies is that all the people in Washington D.C. are actually alien lizards that are obsessed with having sex with kids or some. It's crazy, y'all. It is legit crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
Wikipedia has a lot to say about it. I know Wikipedia is not exactly the most reliable source, but you can
Mhm.
start there and then branch out. Yes, it is basically considered a political conspiracy theory movement here in America. They claim it originated in the far right around 2016, 2017, and as just kind of, I mean, some people say that, their core belief is Satanism, and that they operate all this shit, and it's just
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
yeah, yeah, that they're against all, all this stuff, and they're working behind the scenes it's, I don't know. But the
Yeah,
point is, if somebody
it's out there.
does, say they are part of that group, and they are into political conspiracies and shit like that, that's them. I'm
Mhm.
friends with a lot of people from a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different spectrums.
Mhm.
Just because I'm friends with a person who may think something that I don't think does not mean I'm going to embrace every damn thing they say.
Yeah, I'm friends with liberals. Doesn't mean I think like a liberal.
It's just,
I'm
it's
friends
because
with
we're adults.
conservatives.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I think the same way that they do. I'm
Yes.
independent.
Exactly. We are adults. We know,
And
how to get along with others that we call friends. It's just what you do, regardless.
highlight
I don't know.
I'm sorry,
That's
highlight
okay.
Southern Viking movie theater close to
Here we go.
me had Sound of Freedom, but then dropped it for Barbie. Southern Viking,
Oh my God.
if you go to Sound of Freedom's website, you can put a request in to have it shown at a theater near you, and they will reach out to that theater and tell them we've had a demand. And I know this does happen because the theater closest to me now has Sound of Freedom showing because
Mhm.
enough people went on there, they sent the information to the theater, and it's been sold out.
Right.
Every showing has been sold out.
Yes. And Daryl, the people who made, or who or depicted and involved in Sound of Freedom, they are not conspiracy people.
No,
But
they're not.
some of the QAnon, you know what? Some people just may read it and find it interesting. Some people may be a part of the QAnon. I don't know. I don't care, because
Yeah,
it's not the
neither do I.
first thing that I bring up in conversation when I'm talking to someone.
Yeah. Hi,
And
Arwen. Are
Arlena,
you a part of QAnon?
no, but thanks for asking. Are you?
Nope.
And Arlena, you have to answer this one. What
uh,
spectrum is? Because I mentioned my friends from all kinds of spectrums. So Turo wants to know what spectrum is
oh,
Jester.
well,
Arlena's his fiance. She will be able to answer that.
well, for me, he's on the highest spectrum available. The most beautiful
Aww,
color that there is.
that's so
Purple. I love purple.
sweet.
So therefore, my jester is purple.
And hey, Cambrian.
Hey,
All
Cambrian.
right. Well, y'all, that went quick. We are at the top of the
It did.
hour.
It did.
Is there anything you want to add or say before we get
No,
out of here?
we will not be putting, oh God, there goes Daryl with his barf.
He said, "What? The QAnon
Barfo.
thingy?"
No, Daryl, Barfo Rama, because I was saying how much I love Chester. Uh,
Oh, oh, I see it. I love it. It's
so
romantic.
we will not be putting out a poll
We're done, Steve.
um
Mhm.
for next week's show because we do have a special show for next week already planned. with a special guest
Mhm.
and an earlier time because said special guest can only show up at a certain time. Do you want to go ahead and tell everybody? We're going to
Yeah,
be dropping a thumbnail and stuff for it
let's
because
do
it'll be
it.
made shortly.
Go for it.
So, okay. So next week on Arwena Activated, unless something happens and it doesn't come to fruition, but we've already got confirmation, Coach from Echo Base Network will be joining us at 4:45 Eastern Standard Time,
Mhm.
and we will be discussing faith and religion.
Yep, we sure will. And you know how it relates to your private life and how it relates to your pop culture life, your
Hmm.
online life. So it's going to be
Yep.
good. It's going
Yes.
to be a good one. We'll be bringing up spirituality also in general.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Yes.
looking forward
Yes.
to it. So
And it fits in with our Arwena Activated topics
yes, it does.
because it is one of these things that is like, oh, you're going to talk about that.
Yes,
Yes, on Arwena Activated, we talk about it all.
this is the stream, y'all, where we tackle what people either don't want to talk about, they do want to talk about, or they're afraid to talk about. We're going to talk about it. Hashtag
Yep,
we regret nothing. So,
exactly.
yeah. Well, I may have to set up my no jar before the stream, just just to get in the habit the day before. I'm wondering how many dollars I can actually collect. Every time I swear, I got to put $1 in there, to kind of clean my mouth and my palate here. So I may be rich by the end of that day. So we'll
Right.
see. Oh,
Uh,
okay, do that, Daryl. That would be great.
oh my gosh. Yeah, there are no limits.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
So
Uh,
where are you going to be this
yeah.
week? Rest of this week?
Tomorrow, nowhere that I know of,
Hmm.
that I'm aware of yet.
Playing EXO.
Saturday, yeah, I'll be playing Exo Primal with Jester. Very likely. I think there's a 99.999% of that.
Yep.
Saturday, VacTube at the normal time. And Tuesday, we will be back with Sugar and Spice. Sorry about this past Tuesday, but I lost internet and still don't have internet, but I have T-Mobile. So I got the T-Mobile at home
Hmm.
5G home network. So it's working fine, y'all.
Nice. Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yep.
Because yeah, it sucks when you don't have internet. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
So yes,
yes.
Tuesday we will definitely be doing Sugar and Spice, and it will be y'all's regular craziness that always
Yes.
happens on Sugar and Spice.
Yep. For your rush hour needs, sugar and
Mhm.
spice. Let's see. Tomorrow morning, I will be on with, of course, Loki and Dave Bob for the weekend review on Loki's
And I'll
Morning
be
of
watching
Mischief.
on Rumble.
Yes, yes, y'all be sure to check Loki's out on Rumble too. A lot of channels on Rumble.
Hmm.
If Steven has a community stream on Saturday, I'll probably be there. Backtube Saturday night. And then I Pro is having a member stream late Saturday night. I may stop in there and say, hey, just, depending on how the day goes and what happens. But other than that, yep, we'll be back here. Sugar Spice next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Same
Hmm.
Arwena time, same Arwena channel.
Right. But you
So,
guys, everybody, mark it down next week, 4:45 Eastern.
yeah,
But it will be Thursday, and we'll have a special guest. Hey,
we'll
Coach,
be
I'm
ready.
so excited.
Hell yes. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a great night, and go tell someone you love them.
Yeah, and
Life is short.
remember, there are still kind people in this world, and if you can't find one, then be one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.